What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of U4 Chainsaw Man, episode 12. Also, as of right now, at least the final episode of I guess you would say season one. But with me, as always, I have Blue Spit.
hmm Uh, I gotta be honest, this episode went by a lot faster than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
Uh, considering that it mostly focuses on, I guess you could say, the final fight between uh Denji and the Katana Man, or the Katana Devil, whatever he is. Um, of course, the episode picks up right after the last one, which Aki is still being strangled by the Ghost Devil. Um, although it stops after Aki starts remembering his previous time with Himeno, offering him like the cigarette, well, his first cigarette. Of course, he didn't take it at the time because he told her back then that he was underage at the time.
yeah. And of course, like he wakes up again, and the ghost devil hands him a cigarette with the words "Easy Revenge" on it. um, and he also remembers that Himeno had told him that the ghost devil can't. It actually sees through like people's fear or something like that. Like, so if somebody's afraid of it, then it can like sense that person, I guess.
Yeah, so Aki just pretty much like takes advantage of this and then just climbs on its back and just immediately decapitates the thing.
Yeah. Uh,
And
well, yeah, and
then, of
surprisingly,
course,
Kobeni actually is the one to apprehend the Snake Girl or Sawatori.
yeah, and of course, Aki asks Kobeni why she chose to stay with public safety, even after uh, all the mayhem that's happened in the previous episodes, and her desire to just straight up quit. Kobeni just says that bonuses are coming really soon, and so that's pretty much the reason as to why she's staying, at least for the moment, anyway.
Yeah.
Then we pick up to where Denji and Power is, and of course, they stop at a floor in which there's a crap load of zombies, and of course, Denji wants to do it in a stealthy manner, but Power just straight up charges, head first into the horde, while Denji just stays in the elevator dumbstruck until he just lands into another floor with the Katana Man.
I like how she asked Denji
like,
to watch her back too, and Denji just stays in the elevator, and it goes up to the next floor.
Yeah, yeah. I don't even think Power, realizes that Denji isn't even there anymore. Of course, but I mean, she's still, she's able to hold her own, considering that. I don't know what would happen if the zombies really took a bite out of her, but I don't know if it really has any real effect on her.
I don't know if they'd even really be able to.
No. So we pick up, like I said, we pick up to where Denji is. He immediately faces off with the Katana Man. Of course, before that, the Katana Man calls him out about the time when Denji ended up killing his grandfather. Of course, Denji retorts back saying that his grandfather turned into a zombie, so it wasn't technically his fault. Of course, he still blames Denji for killing him, regardless whether or not he was a human or a zombie. So then, we pretty much get into this this extended fight scene between the Katana Man and Denji, just pretty much fighting, pretty much throwing themselves out of the building and then fighting on top of a subway.
Yeah. I actually thought the whole sequence looked pretty good. Even though they were using CG, but it wasn't distracting or anything. I thought, it looked pretty decent for what it was, for being CG, but it's I think the fluidity in the movement was really impressive.
Yeah, of course, people online are still trying to compare this to the fight scene between Spider-Man and Doc Ock and Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, because it's on
Of
top
course,
of a train.
yeah, I mean, it's close. I mean, it's not the exact choreography, but it's similar in some
Yeah.
aspects. Of course, the end of the fight happens inside the train, in which the Katana Man actually cuts off both of Denji's arms, and of course, Denji points out that he still has a chainsaw on his head. So, of course, Denji uses it to his advantage, and then he cuts the Katana Man straight in half while he was distracted with Denji's chainsaw head, while Denji was able to grow like another chainsaw blade on his leg.
Yeah, and of course he just repeats what Kishibe had told him before about not trusting what a hunter says.
Yeah, and so I don't know like how the Katana Man is able to survive that, like literally just being split in half down the middle like that.
Well, Denji
And then
says later that he had like he had put himself back together or something. I guess it happened off screen because we just see him again after he wakes up in his human form.
Yeah, yeah, both him and the Katana Man still in one piece somehow, which
Yeah.
I don't know how long it takes for them to fully heal from those kinds of
I
injuries.
mean, I imagine it's similar to how it works with Denji, with him being having the Chainsaw Devil, or being have a contract with the Chainsaw Devil, like where the Katana Man is the Katana Devil, so he can I guess he can regenerate parts of his body.
I mean, this is the second instance in which we see them whole again, like off camera.
Because you remember, like Denji
Like,
had also been cut apart too before, and he was able to grow his body parts back. So,
does it grow back, or does he need to have like the other half of his body back to piece back together or something? It's just
I don't. Do we ever
I
see?
mean,
I don't know if we ever see the process of that, but I mean, I would assume it's some kind of something that's either he grows it back or reattached.
I still remember that back when Denji was first became the Chainsaw Man, that his limbs, his entire body was still inside the garbage, the garbage dumpster, while his entire body was just cut into pieces, but he was able to reattach them together. So I don't know if the same thing applied to the instance in which Denji was cut in half, or the Katana Man was cut straight down the middle is similar, or they completely regrow certain parts of their body. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Katana Man is like just pretty much half naked with him only in his boxers, pretty much with both hands tied behind his back. And so Aki arrives and awaits like the authorities to come and apprehend the Katana Man. But before that happens, Denji proposes they have a nut kicking competition to see who can make the guy scream the loudest. Initially, Aki was reluctant in wanting to do so, but then he just decides to do it anyway, and then we just get just a very brief sequence of them just kicking the guy's nuts a couple times over.
Yeah, and of course we also just see the aftermath of the raid, of the public safety raid that captured most of the Yakuza and also captured the Snake Girl. And Makima just reports on what happened afterwards, that basically what the Snake Girl's goal was to go after the Chainsaw Devil, because she had some kind of a contract with the Gun Devil to where the Gun Devil wanted her to hand out guns to the Yakuza or something like that.
Yeah, but of course, before they can interrogate her, apparently she commits an involuntary suicide by her own snake devil or snake fiend.
Yeah, bites her head off.
Yeah, with Kobeni just literally right next to her, just of course freaking out once again.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, but they still managed to gather several more kilograms of the gun devil pieces. So supposedly they have enough to pinpoint where the Gun Devil is. But of course, the episode just already gets us into the the end song, or what was it, the fight song by Eve,
Mhm.
pretty much showing us a montage of Aki, Denji, and Power just hanging out together. Just mostly like a slice of life sequence.
Yeah, and then of course we kind of end things with Aki just taking like just I guess taking a drag of the that easy revenge cigarette, um, and him just sitting on the porch while like Denji and Power are just asleep in the background.
Yeah.
Um, and we get a scene of Denji having a dream of him about to open that door we saw in the beginning of the series that he's not supposed to open. Um, and Pachita is like behind the door telling Denji not to open it. So yeah, there's a lot of questions as to what might be behind that door. I guess like maybe it's some kind of hidden power, maybe some kind of some memories that Denji had repressed. We're not really sure, but and then we cut to another scene where we see this woman just walking out in the middle of the day, and there is a line she says about the country mouse and the city mouse or something. I forget how it goes, but
I think she questions Denji, would he rather be a country mouse or a city mouse? And then it just cuts out as soon as, like, I guess this woman goes into like this cafe or something, and then
okay,
it just cuts out.
Yeah, so I will say this is a character that's supposed to, like, if there was another episode, that she would have probably shown up in the next episode. Like, this is a character that shows up like a little bit after, like, I guess after the events that happened in this episode. So yeah, I kind of wonder if that's maybe a little bit of a tease for a continuation, because I was a little bit disappointed that there was no like announcement or anything like that there was going to be a part 2 or anything like that after this episode aired. But I guess it's they weren't really saying there was going to be before this, so I guess I can't be too surprised. But I would kind of assume that there probably, at least eventually, there probably will be, especially with how the episode ended with them kind of teasing this character. I would assume that they probably have some plans on eventually doing a part 2 sometime in the future.
Yeah, I mean, the way they ended this episode was not it wasn't what I expected. I honestly thought it was just gonna go into a crazy direction and end us off into like this this crazy cliffhanger, but it just it kind of ended like on a almost on a good note with all the characters still together.
Yeah, where they're at in the manga, there wasn't, or what they've adapted from the manga so far, there wasn't really going to be. I knew there wasn't. It was not going to end that way. I think it ends around like I think they've covered most of the content from volume 5, I believe. So yeah, so like they'd probably be going into volume 6 when they start part 2. But yeah, like that's it. Once they do part 2, that's going to be where like more of the really crazy stuff starts happening. I mean, so far this has been pretty crazy, but I mean, it gets even more crazy. So I definitely think if they do end up adapting the rest of part 1, it's definitely going to have that kind of an ending if they do the rest of it. But yeah, I was mostly satisfied with the way this ended. I didn't really expect any like major cliffhanger or anything like that. But I was hopeful, like I said, I was hopeful for an announcement of part 2, but I guess we'll probably get that sometime later if they ever do it.
Yeah. I mean, comparing this to Bleach's finale, I don't know. I don't really feel like this finale hit the same beats as Bleach did, in terms of like hyping up for another season. At least we know that Bleach is having another core coming out this summer. But as for Chainsaw Man, it's just left up in the air.
I guess that's because technically, like, this was the end of a certain arc in Chainsaw Man, and it just has like a pretty conclusive ending for that particular arc, I guess.
Yeah. Another thing is, well, we mentioned this several times before, is that MAPPA has way too many projects on its plate right now. I mean, we still the next one we have Vinland Saga, which MAPPA is going to be adapting for the second season.
Well, and with Vinland Saga, I think it was actually like they have the same people working on it. They were working on it when Wit was doing season 1, but they just transitioned over to MAPPA. So I don't think it's actually like MAPPA like any of the people from MAPPA technically doing it. I think it's just the people that all the staff, as far as I know, like that were doing season 1, are working on season 2. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
I mean, yeah, if I would if we were to really expect a season 2 for Chainsaw Man, it would likely be sometime in maybe early 2024 at most, because
yeah,
from what I hear, I think it's not just that MAPPA's doing all these other projects. It's just right now, it's just like, what was it? The part 2 of the storyline in the mangas is not as far as I believe it is as of right
yeah.
now.
If they were to do the rest of the manga for part 1, I don't know. Yeah, like I don't know how much that part 2 would have progressed by that point. So it's hard to say how much they would have to adapt
Yeah,
if they ever did part 2.
the guys, yeah, the guys at MAPPA, during the Chainsaw Man panel did confirm that they only had plans to make these 12 episodes. So there was no
So they never
indication
really
of like that they would,
teased like any kind of a
no. Yeah, they still never had, they never really had any concrete plans to make a second season, even with all the hype and anticipation. It's just, I mean, they said it's likely that they'll make a second season, but their main focus is only just these 12 episodes. I mean they did the best, the absolute best that they could with all these 12 episodes, and I absolutely believe that they delivered on these 12. But yeah, it's a little bit disappointing that they haven't really teased any continuation of any or anything, or when they might do a continuation.
Yeah. But I mean, anyways, I think for what it was a pretty good way to end off and things for at least this season. I thought this is a pretty good episode. I mean, we did have somewhat of a climactic fight with the Katana Devil, so I mean that was pretty cool. But not a lot of really like crazy stuff aside from that, or really happened in this episode. So I thought it was pretty decent for what it was, though. I don't really have too much else to say about it. I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
How would you give this? How would you score this entire season?
I'd give it a 9, honestly. Like, I was pretty impressed with how they've adapted it, and also just with them going above and beyond with having like different endings for each episode. That was pretty crazy. I don't know if I've ever seen another series do something like that.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a little bit disappointed that they killed off too many characters at that one particular arc. I would have really liked for them to keep Himeno around just a little bit longer. And the Angel Devil's appearance was way too brief, in my opinion, considering that he only showed up in the last episode and only showed up for a few seconds in this episode as well.
Yeah, a lot of I think it was the Violence Fiend, the Angel Devil, and the Shark Fiend, they show up a lot, mostly in the stuff that's going to come after what was adapted in episode 12. So it's just one of those cases where, like, yeah, we briefly get introduced to those characters, but we don't get much of them because they're characters that aren't going to play that big of a role until like later on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm still curious of like what Makima's end goal is. Like, considering that, like, we know there's she's she's plotting something, of course, or maybe she has something under her control already that she already has an end goal in mind. We just don't know what it is.
Yeah. Again, that's all stuff we would find out if they ever did. The part 2, I guess, of season 1, or I guess season 2, whatever you'd call it. I mean, what would you what score would you give this? I guess if you.
I also give this a 9. It's very well animated.
Yeah.
Just I think it's one of the best MAPPA projects I've ever seen them do. Like, even the animation style is even leagues better than Attack on Titan's first two cores made by MAPPA.
Mm.
The CGI, I think it was pretty consistent to what was presented during the fight scenes. My only disappointment was just was them like sidelighting and killing off certain characters way too quickly, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of disappointing that Himeno got killed so quick, because it really felt like she didn't last that long.
No.
But I feel like it was just to show that no character really is safe in the series, that, none of them, any of them could die at any moment, I guess.
Yeah. One more thing is just I really hope for a second season opening that they bring "Devil in Your Heart" by by Sim,
Yeah.
because that's the one song that absolutely fits the entire narrative of Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, and I think it would also be more appropriate for the stuff that happens in that, with the part, if they ever do part 2, because it does get a lot darker later on. So I definitely think that would be pretty fitting for what they would be adapting.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys. So that, I guess, that being said, until next time, we will see you all later.